Are high-interest credit cards or personal loans weighing you down? Unlock gives homeowners a smarter option. With a home equity agreement, you can tap into your home's equity for cash today. There are no monthly payments. Here's how it works. Unlock provides funds upfront and in exchange shares in a portion of your home's future value. That means you keep control with the flexibility to use your equity your way. Pay off bills, invest in home improvements, or set aside savings for peace of mind. For thousands of homeowners, Unlock has been the key to moving forward without the pressure of another payment. Put your equity to work for you. Visit unlock.com to learn more about a home equity agreement. That's unlock.com to learn more.
Terms and conditions apply. Not all homeowners will qualify. Not available in all states. Actor Portrayal. Home equity agreements are offered by Unlock Home Equity Solutions, Inc. In certain states, NMLS number 2657081. Visit www.consumeraccess.org for more info.
But the economy is ripping into everybody's budget, and there is a growing trend across these God-kissed United States. Hosts are charging their guests for food and drink. Yep. You want a couple of extra sides with your turkey? Fork it over, Freddie. $5. Norman Chad. Welcome to Gambling Mad with Norman Chad. I am Norman Chad. Coming up on the program today, Draymond Green is greeted by a heckler. Dave Portnoy is treated like a hero, and Thanksgiving is turned into a profit center. Gambling Mad, as always, brought to you by Fritos, picked fresh off of Central California trees every morning, delivered directly to your local retailer every afternoon, and by the refreshing taste of Fresca. Fritos and Fresca. It's a meal. Las Vegas, America's playground, continues to press its foot on the necks of its paying customers. There's been a noticeable decline in visitors of late, but no matter. You still pay $8 for a bottle of water. You pay $35 to park at each casino. You pay $50 in resort fees. You pay $56 to use a phone charging tray in your room. The greed is good gravy train never stops. And now a new outlandish charge that I believe best symbolizes Sin City's unrelenting sins against its patrons. All gamblers have used an ATM at one time or another. It comes with the territory, and it's not a pleasant chore. You're out of money, and you need more. You're even willing to ignore that annoying $2 or $5 transaction fee. Heck, when it shows up on your statement, on your bank statement later in the month, it's a servicing reminding to you that you were a loser and you remain a loser. But how about a $45 ATM fee that the Venetian now charges? A $45 fee to withdraw cash. Folks, when a loan shark charges an excessively high interest rate on a loan, what we call in the business the VIG, it is illegal. It is usury. It's predatory lending. Charging somebody $45 to withdraw some cash is predatory lending. My goodness. I guess the Venetian figures it this way. It's like on a cruise ship where the slot machines are a bit tighter because you have a captive customer base that can't go anywhere else. And in this situation, you have a desperate captive customer who needs money and needs it now. Let's penalize them. It's cruel and cynical. It preys on gamblers who can't help themselves from gambling. And, you know, it would be bad enough if the $45 ATM fee was for someone who's withdrawing a very large amount of cash, you know, $1,000, $2,000, $5,000. But most of us are withdrawing $500 or less. In fact, most of these ATM withdrawals are for $100 or $200. And then you're dropping another $45 on top of that. Well, actually, I should clarify this. The ATM fee at Venetian is actually $44.95. You know, not $45, $44.95. They're killing me here. They're using the old department store, grocery, supermarket retail ruse of pricing everything $1.99 or $4.95 or $29.99 because, $29.99 does sound a lot better than $30. And because heaven knows you might be put off by a $45 ATM fee, but $44.95 sounds pretty reasonable. They are killing me here with their pick-your-pocket capitalism. By the way, I actually incorrectly labeled Las Vegas America's playground. It is an adult playground, but Atlantic City is the original America's playground. It's been marketed as Atlantic City from way back when, even before the casinos were there. However, I currently have heart, blood pressure, and IBS issues that will prevent me from discussing Atlantic City customer service at this time. So we shall move on.
If you're still waiting for a sign, here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us. So we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
All of you know the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Actually, come to think of it, probably only a few of you know the tale. In the NBA this week, we didn't have Jekyll and Hyde. We had Heckle and Chide. One fan in New Orleans kept chirping at the Warriors' Draymond Green. Green eventually approached the fan to talk to him. That went fairly civilly. The fan, who I might add is a professional heckler, someone who takes pride in jeering and taunting players, the fan kept calling Draymond Angel Reese again and again. After the game, Draymond said, "It was a good joke at first, but you can't keep calling me a woman." Okay, Draymond, you're giving this dunderhead too much credit. There was no good joke there at first. Fox Sports' Jason McIntyre posted on X, "Not sure how I feel about this, so you can make a joke once or twice, but repeatedly is just too much. What's the line in heckling?" he asked. I have an answer for Jason. The line in heckling? Don't do it. We need to be better. This is part of the decline of public discourse in America. This is the coarsening of our dialogue. The idea that with the price of your ticket comes the right to be an ass is absurd. How hard is it to be reasonable? In a comedy club, you can heckle, and even then, it might be over the line, but that's an acceptable venue, and the comedians actually feed off the heckling. But at an arena, you want to cheer, you want to boo, go right ahead, fine. But we've normalized this business of being rough and rude to others and being proud of it. This chump and a half even DM'd fellow bore Clay Travis on X to explain his side of the story. The fan said he meant no disrespect to women's basketball or Angel Reese. He was just trying to get into Draymond's head. He said, apparently with pride, that he's been kicked out of several games for heckling, but no player had ever come up to him in his face. All right, sir, no disrespect intended, but you need to find a better outlet for your insulting manner. How about standing in front of your bathroom window every day and calling yourself a nincompoop? What, you don't fancy nincompoop? Then go with numbskull or knucklehead. Heckle yourself privately, and nobody will be the wiser. The NBA is undergoing a sea change. What is a sea change? Well, the phrase comes from Shakespeare's The Tempest. I will send any of you a copy of the play if you're really interested. Anyway, a sea change is a profound, fundamental shift, a transformation of sorts. And what is that sea change right now in the NBA? Well, let's go over to the big map to explain. The NBA, like MLB and the NFL, is as American as apple pie. But have you ever had German chocolate cake or Swiss rolls? Get used to it. The 5 best NBA players right now are all non-Americans. Back in the day, a humble state such as Indiana would produce hoop stars such as Jimmy Dale and Larry Bird. Those days are over. The only member of the NBA's current top 5 who is born in North America comes from Toronto, last season's MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Everyone else came here by boat or British Air. From Serbia, the Joker. From Greece, Giannis. From Slovenia, Luka. And from France, Wemby. Okay? That's the situation. And those arrows should be going a little bit more north, but you get the idea. Has anyone, say, ever been produced from the state of Arizona? Interesting that you ask. Richard Jefferson was born in L.A., but he was raised in Phoenix. And speaking of Phoenix, is it going to be hot on the hard court tomorrow? 109 degrees at that three-point line. Woo! Traffic and weather all weekend on the 5s. Let's go back to the desk. Time for NFL picks. Time for most of you to just fast forward to the next segment because my NFL picks this season have smelled like week-old lutefisk. Yeah, trust me on this. Guess what? I had another 2 and 3 week. That's my specialty, and I am now an unsightly 16 and 24 against the spread this season. But I am contractually obligated to carry on, so let's do it. Steelers at Bears. The Bears are in first place in the NFC North. The Bears haven't won a division title since 2018. They haven't won a playoff game since the 2010 season. But with a new pope installed in Vatican City, Chicago native Robert Prevost, the Bears are blessed on Sundays now. They are 7-3 under Pope Leo. They've committed 5 turnovers all season following the legendary Catholic Church credo, "Thou shalt not turn the ball over." The Bears have made a franchise record 5 fourth-quarter comebacks this season without the aid of even a Hail Mary. All right, enough with the Bears. The Steelers under Mike Tomlin play bad against bad teams and good against good teams. And since 2007, when the Steelers are a road dog, they are a crisp 41-28-1 against the spread. I'm going to take the Steelers and 3 points in this one. Patriots at Bengals. The Patriots might have the coach of the year in Mike Vrabel. They might have the league MVP in quarterback Drake May. The Patriots have won 8 in a row. They are 5-0 on the road this season, and they are 7-3-1 against the spread. Meanwhile, the Bengals are allowing a league worst 33.4 points per contest. Game over. Game over this Sunday. I mean, can we send a bunt cake or some Sudoku puzzles to Bengals fans to give them something to do Sunday sitting in the cold for 3 hours? And how lucky are New England football fans? It appears they have gone from Tom Brady to Tom Brady 2.0 in Drake May. May has a league best 113.2 passer rating. He's thrown for a league high 2,838 yards. He indeed could be a latter-day Tom Brady without the supermodel wife, special diet, and deflated footballs. I'm going to go with the Patriots here as an 8.5 point favorite. It's time for the beleaguered calendar game of the week. Giants at Lions. Speaking of beleaguered, what is it like to be a New York football fan this past decade? The Jets have had 10 straight losing seasons. They are 2-8 this year, and most of those losing seasons are really losing seasons of like the 5-11 and 4-12 variety. The Giants with 8 losing seasons in their last 9, and they are 2-9 at the moment, and just like the Jets, their bad years are also in the 4-12 and 4-13 neighborhood. So the largest metropolitan area in the nation has 2 teams, but essentially no pro football. This game looks like the Lions-Commanders game from a couple of weeks ago when the Lions were coming off a bad loss and rebounded with a rout. Last week, Jared Goff, his worst game in a long time, only 14 completions in 37 attempts. And Lions coach Dan Campbell was 0 for 5 0 for 5 going for it on fourth down. 0 for 5. Think about if the NFL instituted my suggested golden down, the golden down where a team can use a fifth down once per game. Campbell would have done that for sure. The Lions likely will win in a rout here, so of course I will continue my losing ways by somehow taking the Giants plus 10.5 points. Colts at Chiefs. Is this the Chiefs' last stand? If they lose here, they probably will miss the playoffs. The Chiefs are 5-5. The first time since 2015 they have not been over 500 through 10 games. Patrick Mahomes, he's been their starting quarterback for 7 seasons leading into 2025. The Chiefs have 7 AFC West division titles. Last season, the Chiefs were a remarkable 12-0 in one-score games. This season, they are 0-5. But, I refuse to believe that Patrick Mahomes doesn't have another playoff run in him. The Chiefs are 4-1 at home this season. They are 1-4 on the road. So I think they're going to really be able, I'm hoping they're going to be able to rise to the occasion at Arrowhead Stadium against the surprisingly tough Colts. The secret key to this game, running back Jonathan Taylor had a monster effort in the Colts' last game in Berlin, but no one has ever rushed for more than 100 games in their first game coming back from Germany. No one. I'm taking the Chiefs as a 3-point favorite here.
Are you ready to finally make that dream a reality? Maybe it's updating your kitchen, paying down high-interest credit cards, or covering tuition. Your home is more than where you live. It's also your most powerful asset. At Unlock, we make it simple to turn equity into options. With a home equity agreement, you can access cash today without taking on monthly payments. Imagine the freedom to invest in your home, reduce financial stress, or finally start that big project you've been putting off. It's your home. It's your future. Unlock it today. Visit unlock.com to learn more about a home equity agreement. That's unlock.com to learn more.
Terms and conditions apply. Not all homeowners will qualify. Not available in all states. Actor Portrayal. Home equity agreements are offered by Unlock Home Equity Solutions, Inc. In certain states, NMLS number 2657081. Visit www.consumeraccess.org for more info.
Buccaneers at Rams. I'm going to celebrate Matthew Stafford and myself this week because when the Rams obtained Stafford 5 years ago, people wondered if he was really all that. But I told everyone that he had been a very good quarterback on very bad teams, and he was all that. Stafford has proven me right for one of the few times this century. Stafford spent his first 12 seasons with the woeful Detroit Lions. Now, through 17 seasons, he has thrown for 62,366 yards, 404 touchdowns, and a career passer rating of 92.1. Stafford is a Hall of Famer. And with a very good defense that the Rams provide, Stafford now with 5 straight victories, the Rams 8-2 on the season. Meanwhile, I am finished, at least for the moment, with Buccaneers quarterback Baker Mayfield. Baker has failed me. I forgive, but I don't forget. Or maybe it is I forget, but I don't forgive. Either way, I'm off the Baker Mayfield bandwagon this week. I will take the Rams as a 6.5-point favorite. CBS Sunday Morning, one of the last national broadcast homes for respectable, responsible journalism, decided to celebrate Barstool sample despot Dave Portnoy with a 9-minute segment. They made him sound almost presidential. Portnoy runs Barstool Sample, officially known as Barstool Sports, a long-time website trash bin for frat boy antics, routine sexism, garden variety racism, garbage-filled, hateful takes, and the like. Portnoy is a pile of slime who, to his credit, turned his landfill of loudmouths into a multi-million-dollar media powerhouse. Okay, so this is what Portnoy had to say on CBS Sunday Morning. I feel like I have a good moral compass. My friends, moral compasses go to Barstool Sample to die. On a podcast just earlier this year, as Greta Thunberg was headed toward Gaza with aid, Portnoy said that he hoped a missile would hit her boat. Several years ago, when former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick was kneeling during the national anthem, Portnoy said, I think Kaepernick is an ISIS guy. Throw a head wrap on this guy. He's a terrorist. He looks like a bin Laden. And Portnoy once joked, I never condone rape, but if you're wearing size 6 skinny jeans, you kind of deserve to be raped. Let me be abundantly clear here. Portnoy has the moral compass of a hedgehog. But it's a world gone mad. The mainstream now turns to Dave Portnoy for moral high ground takes. He is a regular contributor to Fox News. He was talking about honor and integrity this past weekend on Fox Sports. He is a pimple on the ass of our culture, but best I can tell, it's a very good time to be a pimple. Pimples these days feed the bulldog and then some. Our gambling mad investigative unit, known as the I-Team, has decided to dive into 2 big name changes that may or may not redirect America. Incidentally, it is known as the I-Team because I am the only member of it. Name change number 1, the Department of Defense is now the Department of War. Name change number 2, MSNBC is now MS Now. We'll deal with the Department of War thing first because it is name change number 1. It was the Department of War for 150 years. It became the Department of Defense after World War II. President Trump signed an executive order in September, turning back the clock and going with the Department of War again. Why? He said, quote, defense is too defensive. We want to be offensive too if we have to be. Well, we've been offensive too. And Trump said that we used to win wars when we were the Department of War, so this will serve as a reminder that we could do it again. Trump said we had an unbelievable record of victories when it was Department of War. You know, actually, I think he may be onto something. The United Kingdom has struggled lately. They should go back to the glory days of being called the British Empire. Meta should return to Facebook. Nothing good has happened to Kanye West since he's gone with Ye or Ya or whatever. He should be Kanye West again. And how about Diddy? He's doing jail time as Diddy, but he's got a potpourri of name change choices from his past. Puffy, Puff Daddy, Puff Diddy, P. Diddy, Brother Love, Sean Combs, anything to get him out of the hooskow. That's a good word. I like that word, hooskow. You never heard of it? Look it up, you huckadoodles. HOOSEGOW, hooskow. MSNBC, as of last weekend, is MS Now. It was MSNBC. It's now MS Now. MS Now might sound better, but it's just rebranding a bad product. You can reheat a Domino's pizza all you want, but it's still a Domino's pizza. MS Now actually stands for My Source for News, Opinion, and the World. Just rolls off the tongue. See the letters here? My Source, News, Opinion, World. Somebody signed off on that. Now, I know it really doesn't matter what the letters mean in MS Now. For instance, ESPN actually stands for the Entertainment and Sports Programming Network, though I've never been able to exactly figure out the entertainment component that comes in. Well, they did have Chris Berman there for a little while. Let's just hope that MS Now is indeed better than MSNBC. Let's start with something that they're not going to start with. Lose the left-leaning approach. Give us the news straight and simple, like somebody somewhere used to do back in the old days when we had the original Department of War, and we were kicking Germany's ass in every world war. It's not that hard.
That was easy.
Exactly. We finally have one good news story this week, and it comes from the unexpected category of matrimony. Hey, I know matrimony. I have been matrimonious more than once. Lyle and Eleanor Giddens met as students at Clark Atlanta University in 1941. They got married the next year in 1942, just before Lyle shipped off to Italy with the Army during World War II. After Lyle returned from the war, they settled in New York City. They both had government jobs in which they worked together, and they had 3 children. Let's fast forward to the current century. They now live in Miami near their daughter, Angela. Okay, perhaps none of this seems rather unusual or striking to you. Well, listen up, people. Lyle is now 108 years old. Eleanor is now 107 years old. They are the oldest married couple ever. They have been married 83 years. In one of my marriages, we were separated before the end of the reception, the wedding reception. Let me review these facts for you. You know, I know these sound like video game numbers, and I'm not so sure you people really absorbed it the first time, because I know you're falling asleep. Lyle is 108. Eleanor is 107. They've been married for 83 years. 83 years. Contrast this to Glenn Scotty Wolf, a one-time Baptist minister from California who has the world record for most marriages. 29 times. 29 times he was married between 1927 and 1996. So he took a different path than the Giddens. By the way, when Lyle and Eleanor Giddens each was asked the key to a long marriage, they both answered that they love each other. That just pisses me off. Since when does that work? Before we wrap up, I'm going to say this one time and one time only. Thanksgiving should not have a cover charge. Thanksgiving is a time of expressing thanks for family and life's blessings, for gathering with those closest to you, and of course for watching 37 football games and kicking off Black Friday. But the economy is ripping into everybody's budget, and there is a growing trend across these God-kissed United States. Hosts are charging their guests for food and drink. Yep. You want a couple of extra sides with your turkey? Fork it over, Freddie. $5. You know what we call it? You know what we call it when you charge diners for food and drink? A restaurant! Now, I understand that if, say, college students all want to pitch in and pay for the holiday dinner, or you might want to throw a potluck dinner, though I hate a potluck because what the hell am I supposed to cook? That's going to be edible for anyone. But this idea of charging your guests for dinner? No. Simple solution. You don't want the financial burden of hosting Thanksgiving? Then be a guest at someone else's home and poach off of them. That will do it for another edition of Gambling Mad with Norm and Chad. Hope to see you again next time. And remember, if you're going to roll the dice, make sure they're loaded. I had the TV on last Sunday at the crack of dawn for the Commanders-Dolphins game from Madrid. Because what else was I going to do at 6:30 in the morning other than watch 2 decrepit NFL franchises play a soccer match on a football field? Both teams were lucky to score 1 touchdown in a 13-13 game. With 6 minutes left, the Commanders had a 4th and goal at the 1-yard line, and rather than kick a go-ahead field goal, they chose to go for the touchdown. They failed. Then with just 2 minutes left, the Dolphins had a 4th and goal at the 1-yard line, and rather than kick the go-ahead field goal, they also went for the touchdown. They failed. I am tired of these analytics geeks with their statistical models. I am tired of hearing you have a 59% chance of winning if you go for the touchdown, but only a 55% chance if you try a field goal. Take the points. Take the goddamn points. Bad teams can't score touchdowns. That's why you kick the field goal. And guess what? they still keep score in NFL games. Whoever has the most points at the end of the game is declared the winner. Who doesn't want to take the lead with 2 minutes left? Points count. Take the points. Take the goddamn points. For as Pop Warner is my witness, the next time one of these Ivy League educated junior GI NFL head coaches decides not to kick a field goal in the game's final 2 minutes to break a tie, I will go gambling mad.
Gambling Mad with Norman Chad is written by Norman Chad and ghost-written by Norman Chad. Executive producers are John Scheinberg and Rick Barrio-Dill. Produced by Norman Chad and Rick Barrio-Dill. Our associate producers are Bree Coury and Asher Friedberg, and edited by Asher Friedberg with studio facilities at 360 Pod Studios, Beverly Hills.
Just got a new puppy or kitten? Congrats! But also, yikes. Between crates, beds, toys, treats, and those first few vet visits, you've probably already dropped a small fortune, which is where Lemonade Pet Insurance comes in. It helps cover vet costs so you can focus on what's best for your new pet. The coverage is customizable, sign-up is quick and easy, and your claims are handled in as little as 3 seconds. Pro tip, Lemonade offers a package specifically for puppies and kittens. Get a quote at lemonade.com/pet. Your future self will thank you. Your pet won't. They don't know what insurance is.